we're a multi-channel e-commerce platform or aggregator. So we connect with as many seller channels as we can. So it's obviously the big boys like Amazon, eBay, Wish, Shopify, all the web carts too. And what we do is we try and really take away every kind of headache that a seller might get. And we're talking about really kind of everyone. So the idea of Expandly is you can expand your business. So whether you're a big business, you can use Expandly, or if you're someone just starting out and you want to grow your business, you can use Expandly too. So what we do is we do product listing. So we'll import all of your products from your sales channels, and with a little bit of finessing, we're able to push those out to all your other channels too, much quicker than you would be able to obviously manually. We pull all your orders in. So we do order management. We manage your stock live. So you can have all of your stock showing. If you've only got something left, one item left, you can have it showing across all your channels. If it sells, we'll take it up all your channels so you never oversell. We'll also do your shipping. So we integrate with a whole bunch of shippers. I'm not sure there's one out there that we don't integrate with. And you can print your shipping labels from within Expandly. You can push that details back to your customer. And then the last thing we do, which is really critical, especially here in the UK where it's coming up to financial year end, is we push your sales orders through to zero. So that really kind of helps take away the headache and the pain that we see now. A lot of small businesses that are trying to grow, help with their accounts. We do that too.
Wow, okay. So inventory management, listing management, all that kind of stuff is definitely, it's a space that has a lot of competition in it.
Yeah.
What is it that Expandly stands out from the competitors?
Yeah, I suppose there's a number of things really. I suppose the first thing to mention is that there are a number of competitors, but they're all very expensive, and they're all very much kind of aimed at that kind of high level market, especially if they're pulling from multiple channels, doing order management, live inventory management as well. And that's where really Expandly was born. Is it's hard to get that kind of system without paying a big upfront cost and a lot of money over a lot of years. And we really wanted to create something that was for the person, a small business, someone who started out selling, it's gone okay, and they want to start expanding. So that's really, we're affordable. Our CEO and founder, Alan Wilson, he's really gifted developer. He's a technical guy, and he made sure the technology was right first, built it to make sure it worked, and that the stuff that comes in, the way we integrate, it's right, and we make sure that we're doing kind of the best for our customers. We're not just trying to kind of fudge a solution for them. So I guess that's really what sets us apart. Is we kind of want to be able to provide a listing solution for everybody and make them manage their live inventory, whether they have one or two SKUs, or whether we've got some customers who've got hundreds of thousands of SKUs. We're able to cater for everyone. So really just trying to capture that whole market.
Okay. So do you find that most sellers you guys work with start on their own platform, whether it's Shopify, BigCommerce, stuff like that, and then you're helping them get into other marketplaces, or do you find they're typically in a certain marketplace, probably Amazon, and then helping them go into the other ones?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a real mixture. We get a few people who are selling on one marketplace, and they want to start expanding, so they think instead of taking the time to do all their listing on another, they'll use us, and then they use us for the management of all their orders and their listing as well. But equally, we get some people who have been trying to manage it really well for quite some time, selling across different platforms, and each platform integrates into each other. But then what you find is that each platform's kind of got its own agenda. So depending on who you hook in with who, doesn't always work that great. So they come to us, they get an unbiased software that will do everything kind of right by the customer. So we get a real range. And I said, some really big companies, really big, well-known like flagship brands, as well as the Instagram sellers, the people who are doing it from their garage or garage. They're kind of everybody we're getting.
Thanks for the translation there. So do you find that a majority of the sellers who work with you, I would assume, are the ones that have a significantly larger product line? Because I imagine if you have a handful of SKUs, I guess the listing side's not that difficult, but then again, the inventory side still is. But is that still what you find is, it's kind of like X amount of SKUs works better?
Yeah, for sure. So we find, the more SKUs you have, the trickier they are to manage. So we definitely will help with that. But equally, if you've got only a few SKUs, but they're high value, and you're selling on multiple marketplaces, you want to make sure that you're not overselling that item. You want to make sure that those orders are being processed properly. So we have plenty of customers like that also. There is a real mix, but you're absolutely right. Our sort of perfect customer probably has a lot of different SKUs that we help them manage.
Nice. So I personally love having conversations with different order management, inventory management, and ERP systems, just because you guys literally have your hands in like every marketplace, every platform. So usually you guys are the ones who know like high level, where's the market going, what are people using. So what is it you see like has been maybe a shift lately, or something that you guys are seeing probably going to happen within the next year or so?
So as I've said, our customers are really varied. I think one thing we have seen is that customers are moving to marketplaces where they can offer like the most frictionless experience for their customers. So able to add a bit of a human touch, but also able to offer the customer everything they need. So more and more payment methods, making it just easier, offering kind of no friction whatsoever for someone not to buy from them. And I think eBay announced the other day they're now accepting Google Pay. So I think the more sales channels offer different avenues, different ways to both interact, but also take payments, really just helps our sellers do their best. This idea, I think, of being able to be human, create a really good user experience. Obviously, Instagram now selling, that's a really kind of unique experience, which I think everyone's got their eye on, and really kind of could be a game changer, especially for the kind of younger generation. That's definitely out there and something we're keeping track of. I really think there's plenty of stats that are thrown around that I'm sure people are aware of, but the idea that if you add shipping costs and you don't show them up front, a lot of people are going to drop off. If you make people sign up and don't allow them to check out as guests, you're going to get a lot of drop off. So it's this idea of creating as little friction as possible for your customers, making their experience a really good one, a really slick one, so that they enjoy buying from you and they come back and do it again. I think that's what we're really seeing, people gravitating towards those marketplaces.
Okay. You guys haven't gotten into Walmart just yet, right?
No. So we've mainly kind of focused, I guess UK out because we're UK based, but we do our next core market is the US, but no, not just yet.
So in UK, I imagine it's similar in US where most people are on Amazon or they have their own site. What is the third place you typically see them going to?
I'd say there's probably Amazon. They normally would have their own site, you're right, and Shopify is probably the biggest we see. And then it's probably eBay. eBay seems to be making a really strong push to get their customer experience right. Obviously they were founded on this kind of user-to-user experience, and you can see kind of they've got big marketing push. There are more payment methods. Obviously they have PayPal as well, which gives them a leg up. So we see a lot of people looking at eBay, and they seem to definitely be modernizing. I was saying the other day, like I remember when maybe not the only way, but the best way to buy on eBay was via check. And I don't think I've written a check for probably like 20 years now. So it's really interesting to see what they're doing and how they're changing. And they've had a little bit of a rebrand. There's definitely more kind of more based around their user experience for sure.
It's interesting. I actually, like a couple hours ago, got an email from eBay about a conference that they're having in the States for their sellers. And I've realized now, like, eBay's doing a lot on the seller side to get them to come over, because Walmart's back end is awful. It's a pain to use. eBay, they're doing a lot in terms of like trying to get back up to being a marketplace and being a player in the industry. So it's interesting to see. I'd be curious to see if like everyone assumed like Walmart's going to be the next thing that kind of equates to Amazon, and I'm wondering if eBay is going to do what they can to kind of make a push to do that, but they got a long way to go. But
sure, yeah, I really think that they're trying to distinguish themselves a little bit on this kind of like human interaction. It seems to work pretty well for them, but as you say, the likes of Walmart, Amazon are such monsters that it's hard.
Yeah.
You've really got to carve out your own niche.
Yeah. So my one of my favorite questions when I talk to different SaaS companies when I do this, any new features coming out that you haven't told anyone about yet, or where I can say like they told us.
Well, you know what? So we're really based. Our current sort of route to market we're focusing on it's kind of UK based for the moment, but we're building a accounting partner program. We've got some really great partners on board because we integrate with Xero. We have done for years the accounting software, and we've developed that. We launched a renovation of that integration in January, and what we allow people to do there is group orders and push them in, which is something not a lot of people do, and they definitely don't do it well. And that's been a real problem for particularly the e-commerce market. You haven't been able to group orders together and push them. If you're pushing into a cloud system, the more and more transactions you do, the slower your system's going to be. So it's not been a great user experience, but we've managed to group them together. So we've got some just really nice kind of little things coming down the line with that, just allowing people to do things a lot better with grouping orders together, taking care of the fees, taking care of mapping different tax rates, making sure that year end's not an absolute kind of nightmare for them. There's an initiative in the UK called Making Tax Digital, which is huge for small businesses and all businesses really right now, which requires them to file their VAT digitally, which is value-added tax, it's tax they have to do all the time, once a year, sorry, and or quarterly. But it's something we're really kind of focused on, and something that we really think we can help certainly the UK economy, and then it kind of just balls out from there, because it's not a unique problem. Yes, there's this piece of legislation in the UK that means that sellers are going to have to do it, but it's kind of best practice and good if you've got good accounting software. There's a really great stat that we have that actually 41% of small businesses that start in the UK, they actually fail after 5 years. But if that customer is using best practices and using software for their accountancy, it jumps up to 88%. So you more than double if you're using some sort of accountancy software, your kind of success rate. So that's something we're really kind of keen on, and sellers, especially because you've got so many, more than likely you've got a lot of orders, a lot of SKUs, that's a lot of paperwork to have to do. So we're really focused on making that simpler. So coming down the line, we're just constantly kind of improving that integration at the moment. We do have some really good looking listing stuff just to try and make that whole process easier. I'm sure as you know, and I'm sure as your followers will know, taking products from one place and pushing them into another sounds really easy, but actually there's loads of stuff behind that, especially if Amazon's involved.
Yeah, really.
So we're developing a lot of stuff around that, just try and make that simple, and trying to practice repeats, trying to make that experience as frictionless as possible. Those are the things that are coming down the line. I can't really give you a nice big juicy like this is what we're launching, but there's some really good work going.
Yeah, nice. Like, a lot of people don't really appreciate the small fixes too. Like, there's been way too many times, I've worked with the software and they'd be like, "Oh, we released this massive new feature." I'd be like, "Great, the rest of your software is still awful, but I'm glad we can do this now poorly." Yeah.
And we're constantly focused on that, just fixing up bugs. The marketplaces and the websites are constantly changing their end, which means we have to constantly change. One of the good things about Expandly is we are a really agile team. Our developers are really good, really quick at being able to make changes. So we're really lucky in that regard. Nice.
I'm sure, as you know, I love keeping these things like short and quick and just nice little introduction, but obviously really appreciate you joining me. I would love, for you to kind of give some closing remarks so everyone know where they can find out more about Expandly and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, sure. So, obviously, expandly.com. You can follow us on all the social media platforms, or myself on @AliMellerLive. And we blog constantly. We've got some really good stuff around our zero integration at the moment because it's end of tax year in the UK. But we're constantly offering tips on how you can do things. We released a really good blog quite recently about eBay have started paying scheduling fees, for scheduling listings. So they're giving you a little fee for that. If you've got a lot of products, that can become quite costly. If you use Expandly, you're able to kind of get around that a little bit and schedule stuff from within Expandly. So we're constantly trying to find little tips, not just to help promote our stuff. I know that one does, but also just trying to help you get the most out of selling online, especially that unique person who's selling on a lot of different marketplaces. How do you best know which ones are selling well and which ones aren't? So that's really what we want to try and help with. So expandly.com, or follow us on. We're pretty active on Twitter.
Perfect. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Everyone who watches this later, of course, you can comment here. I'll make sure to send it over if you guys have any questions about Expandly. Same thing on YouTube once I get that there, or a blog. I'll make sure to get it over to them, or reach out to them directly, of course. But once again, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Enjoy your Friday night,
No problem.
and I will talk to you guys
later.
Have a good
weekend.
All right.
You
too. Bye.
Bye.